I walked in the door and I saw my mother down on her knees, scrubbing the urinal in the same bathroom where I went to middle school. Facing the urinal, I looked at her, I said, "Mom, why are you doing that?" And she said, "Well, I got to finish this bathroom and the one down on the west wing, and then we can go to dinner." And I said, "No, you missed my question. Why are you doing that?" And she said, "Son, you know I dropped out of high school in the 11th grade. This is the best I'll ever do." And I said, no, Mom, I can't believe that that's true. My sister was valedictorian from high school, top 5 in her class from Baylor University. At the time that we were having this conversation, I just received my first promotion in the U.S. Air Force. And I said, there's no chance that the best stock I come from is to scrub the urinals in the middle school. It's a story that you've been telling yourself. And the worst part is, you believe it. How many of you told yourself stories about your life that you later found out weren't true, but you've been building your whole life around these lies? There's a lot of them, right? We did not have dinner that night. My mom was a little mad at me when I told her she'd been lying to herself all this time. But they sent me off to the Air Force, sent me to Honduras for 5 months. And while I was gone, I get a call from my aunt. Now, my aunt never called me at work. Not one time before that and not one time after that. But when she called me in Honduras and said, "Your mama's heart was broken by that conversation you had," I had to take a breath. I'm 3,000 miles from home. I can't run home if there's something wrong with my mama. And I kind of panicked a little bit. She said, but she's okay. You just need to know, you really hurt her when you said that she was lying to herself. I said, okay. She said, but we had a conversation about it, and we both decided to go back to school and get our GEDs. And I was like, yes, go get that GED. She said, but the teacher wouldn't let her get a GED. I'm like, what do you mean wouldn't let her get her GED? She said, no, the continuing ed teacher told her that her grades were so good if she would try hard enough, he would help her get her high school diploma. In fact, he would bridge her journey as the janitor and the lunch lady along with her teacher's certificate and let her retire as a school teacher. And she did. She went back to school and graduated the same month she turned 50 years old. And then she went to work in the Challenger High School. Anybody ever been in ISS? Been in trouble with the teachers because you talk too much in class, can't behave yourself? All those kids went to my mama's class. Many of those kids went on to high school graduation. Many of them went on to college on scholarships. Some went on to the ROTC programs and into the military with high ranking. One of those young ladies went from, when she came back to school at 17 years old, she had a baby in tow. She said, my mama's in jail because she killed my daddy. I don't have a mama or a daddy at home, but I got a baby and I got to get an education. And they said, honey, we let you go at 15 when you dropped out. She said, but I live in the state of Texas and there's compulsory attendance till I'm 18. You have to educate me. And the school went, well, you know, and my mom said, put her in my class. Last I heard, she was director of nursing at Georgetown. See, when you don't give up on people, but instead you invest in them, you believe in them, things change. Mama began to believe in herself, and she began to tell stories, not just about herself, but to these young people, that you are worth something, you're worth investing in, you're worth being a part of, you're worth me believing in, and that changed the story of their lives, and that changed their lives. And so StoryPower Academy is born of the conviction that I have that the ability to change the story you tell yourself and the story you tell the world can change you and change the world. How many of you agree with that? For that reason, I am grateful for my mama. Now, we're here today because of gratitude. A couple of things that I learned about gratitude, just doing the research for this particular presentation. We all know that gratitude is an attitude, right? You know what an attitude is, though? Anybody ever heard a definition of an attitude? I mean, we know when it shows up, right? It usually comes with the eye rolls and the eyebrows, right? But Dr. Caroline Leaf, neuroscientist, says that attitude is when a thought collides with a feeling. It's what you think about how you feel and how you feel about what you think. Anybody ever had a feeling come over you and you start thinking a certain kind of way, and then you realize a few minutes later, I'm not even sure that's what they meant by that, but that's how I think about it. Or maybe it's the other way. Somebody says something, you start thinking a thing, and then you start feeling some kind of way about what you're thinking. And now it's all off track. What if gratitude was an attitude? What if gratitude was the choice to feel a certain way? No matter what they said. No matter what they did, if you chose gratitude, that'd be a good thing, wouldn't it? Now here's something else that I learned about gratitude. It's almost always the outcome of a teaching, an admonition, or encouraging other people. In other words, gratitude is not natural. How weird is that? Now, how do we know that that's true? How old is this one? 5? 3.5. Sweetie, what do you say when somebody gives you a gift? What do you say? You say thank you? Does mom remind you to say thank you? Yeah, we look at our toddlers all the time. You heard in the intro 10. Stand up for a second, please. This is number 13. He's still hiding in there. He'll be here in June. That's number 13. We're excited to have more. We love having babies. But let me tell you something. We still have to say, thank you. What do you say? Thank you. It's not natural, is it? It's a choice. You got to tell people to say thank you. I was in Honduras in the early 90s. And I remember landing in Honduras, and I watched as the helicopter came down, these kids kicking a soccer ball. And they would kick it from here to that wall, and it hit the ground and splat. I don't mean it would hit and bounce a little bit. It was like they kicked a pancake. It just hit the ground, and that was it. And they would run over to the ball, and they would pick it up, and they would kick it again, and it would fly to the other side, and it splat. So when I went to town to get some supplies to build their showers with, we bought a ball. Now, this was an extravagant purchase, I have to tell you. At the time that I was in Honduras, the lempira was worth 6 lempira per $1. That's less than 20 cents. And that ball that I bought for them cost me 1 lempira. And I took it back to them, and I kicked it, and it flew through the air, and it bounced, and then it bounced higher than their heads, and I watched every one of them go. And look up at that ball like, what, they bounce? I never knew. And then I watched them with exuberance chase that ball around. There wasn't one of those kids at that orphanage that did not come up and give me a hug over a ball that cost me less than $1. How many of you think if you made a $1 investment, a 20-cent investment in a bunch of strange kids today, you would get that kind of reaction? No. But see, when we teach our toddlers to say thank you, we're training them in gratitude. The attitude of gratitude is a learned behavior. We have to teach it or it doesn't come. We have to teach people to be grateful. We have to say to our kids, what do you say? And if they don't, they never learn it. They become entitled teens. And then they become an entitled society. And then we have a problem because we don't have gratitude. And I can tell you, as my own student of my own stupidity, there was a season about 20 years into my marriage that my wife and I had reached a point that honestly, we weren't even mad at each other anymore. We just went for a walk around the lake at a house that we were house sitting for. And on the second trip around the lake, we were deciding the kids will go here for this period of time and there for that period of time, and you get this car and I get that car, and you can keep the house and I'll move out. We were just deciding with no emotion what it was going to be like to just move on. And at the end of the second lap, I turned to her and I said, how did we get to this place? And she turned to me and said some of those words that If they don't hit you hard enough, it's because you're not listening. She said, I just don't feel appreciated. I just don't feel appreciated. Now let me tell you, that gratitude is not gratitude if it's not expressed. I don't care how much you think it, how much you feel it, even if the toddler's face lights up when you give them that dessert, that treat, that gift, that ball, that Xbox, whatever it has to be to get the thank you out of them, even if they light up, if they don't say thank you, it doesn't matter. If I didn't say thank you to my bride, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much I feel it, I gotta say it, right? What do you say? Thank you. Here's something else you'll notice. Early on, we have a toddler, a 2-year-old in the house right now. And on a regular basis, we'll say, what do you say? And she'll go, thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you. How about a little louder? How about you be bold in your thank you? How about you express gratitude with the same exuberance that you would beg for something that you want? What if you said, please and thank you at the same volume? What if you were equally excited about that? I thought, that would be such a powerful thing. And then I realized something Zig Ziglar said a long time ago. I want to marry 2 bizarre thoughts for you. David Goggins. Anybody know the name David Goggins? This guy's a Navy SEAL. He was an Army Ranger. He's a bad A if there's a bad A. You know what I'm saying? He is tough. He's a marathon runner. He's a bodybuilder. This man has more discipline than anybody on earth at this point, I'm pretty sure. But when he sat down with Dr. Jordan Peterson, and Jordan Peterson said, dude, where did you get all the discipline to do all the things you do? He said, I don't have any discipline. You run marathons, you get up at 5 in the morning, you work out that hard, and you have no discipline. He said, no. It took discipline for about 2 weeks. After that, it's not discipline, it's a habit. Oh, that's a different thing. What if gratitude as an attitude didn't take discipline? What do you say? Thank you. What if we just made it a habit? What if we just made it a habit? Well, you've heard several times people come up here today and say thank you. And it's become a habit they're grateful for, we have gratitude for. But there's a guy by the name of Zig Ziglar. Anybody remember Zig Ziglar? He had this thing called the green Buick theory. And his theory was that if you bought a green Buick, the minute you drive off the dealership lot with that, it seems like everybody in town has the same green Buick. Think about it. Whatever car you're driving today, if you walk out there in the parking lot, you'll notice everyone that's just like it or just a little bit different. Same car, different color. Same car, different model. Same car, same model, different year. You notice all of them. Neuroscience says that's a thing in the brain called a reticular activating system. It causes you to remember the things that you've become aware of. Thank you. And if thank you goes beyond being a discipline and into being a habit, it's not just something we do because it's polite. It's not something we do because we're disciplined to do it. It becomes a nature in us. And the best part of that is when we reach the point where we can naturally be grateful for the things around us, even when they immediately appear bad. We can look at them and go, I'm thankful that I'm alive to experience that. I'm thankful that my wife was bold enough to say, I just don't feel appreciated. Last September, we celebrated 30 years. It's funny, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because it seems like at 10 years, that was when I gave up pornography and I nearly lost my wife. We had 20 years, I learned how to be appreciative, but I nearly lost my wife, and now we're at 30 and I have no idea what's coming next. 40 years, I hope, right? But attitude, gratitude, discipline, habit. What would happen if gratitude became that thing like the green Buick theory, that every time we said thank you, felt grateful, we attracted more things to be grateful into our lives? All of a sudden we look around us, we think, Wow, I'm excited about this. This is so awesome. I want this new thing to happen. What's the next new thing that could happen in your life? How awesome could that next new thing be? That's what we want. That's what we want to know. We also know that it's contagious, because every attitude is contagious. You walk into a room and you got a sour attitude, and what happens? Everybody else got one now, right? You give them away, or you get them from somebody else, more contagious than a common cold. I want you to think what it would be like if we could simply learn to say thank you, even when it don't feel right, like getting up and going to the gym at 5 in the morning. Even when it don't feel good, like putting down the fork, stepping away from the cake. I failed. Notice this beautiful one right there, barely nibbled on that cake. She's just looking at it. It's as pretty as she is, but the cake is still sitting there. Mine is gone. I have no discipline. What if we could get to the place where we're so thankful for every little opportunity like that, that we contagiously infect other people with an attitude of gratitude? Do you think we could change the world that way? Absolutely we could. And so that's my challenge for you today. Will you say it with me? What do you say?
Thank you.
A little louder. Say it like you're proud to be grateful.
Thank you.
And let me say to you, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of your world today. Thank you for what you're doing for young people today, for the scholarships and the impact in the community. And thank you to our birthday girl today, Dr. Hamid. I've noticed this before she was Dr. Hamid, but I'm very honored to be here and very honored to be invited. Thank you. And thank you.